Welcome back, guys. So in today's episode, I'm going to show you how you can turn this piece of clay into a maker's mark like this, so that you can do this. Alright guys, to get started on this, you want to get a piece of clay that is about the size of a cherry tomato. So if you ball it up, it's about the size of a cherry tomato. Now what you want to do with this is you can form it into any shape that you want, depending on what you want your maker's mark to look like and how you want it to look stamped. But let's just go over a basic one, which is going to be making it into a cylinder. So you just roll it on a flat surface to make it into a cylinder, and then you want to stamp the top so it's all flat. So make sure you're doing it on a flat piece. This log is not the flattest, so I wouldn't suggest doing it on that, but tabletop, piece of glass, something like that, something that's really flat, even, and you're going to come up with a nice flat top. And on this flat top is where you can make your mark. So as you can see, it's already in the form of like a stamp. If you want it to be perfectly circular, work out those edges, and then all you're going to do is you're going to carve into this. So let's just do a triangle. Now I like to carve into it while it's still maybe leather, soft leather kind of feel to it. If it's too wet, it won't work. If it's too dry, it's not going to work either. It's going to crumble up. So like a soft leather, I like to carve into it. So I could leave it like that. I could hollow this out and cut out even further and make it to where it's a textured surface. So I could cut all this out, cut the triangle till it's hollowed, and now by hollowing that out, it'll create a raised texture on the surface of whatever piece I put it on. So this is another way you can make textured objects. Textured pieces for your pottery. But say your maker's mark, you just wanted a triangle and you wanted that triangle raised out of the pot, you would just dig into it like that. Now that's one way you can do it. You would let this dry, and once it gets bone dry, you would take a paintbrush So once it's dry, you would take a paintbrush. I don't have one with me right now, but you'd take a paintbrush and brush out. Just get the paintbrush damp, but not to where it's dripping. And you're just going to wipe away all these crusty edges with your paintbrush, and it'll come off really easy. So you would just get a paintbrush and paint all that back to where there are no rough edges. Get it the way you like. Remember, that would be bone dry. Right now it's still soft leather, but you'd want it to be around, you want it to be bone dry whenever you're trying to get that finer detail and make it look a little bit better. So that's one way. This is if you want a raised texture on your pot, then you cut into it. And then if you want a depressed, like a depressed area in your pot, well then you would just, instead of cutting inside my triangle, I would cut outside. So here's another ball, roll it up, stamp it, got a nice flat surface to work on. Make another triangle. But now, instead of cutting the inside of this, you want to cut the outside. And here's where you would need, if you're going to cut large chunks off, I would wait for this to turn from soft leather into like a hard leather. But do all of the outside templates before then. So with this, once you get it, alright, you've got your triangle, you know the size of it. Now you would just cut sections off. And again, I would say use hard leather. Use it at the hard leather stage. Use it at the hard leather stage and not the soft leather stage. It'll be a lot easier. The structure of your stamp will stay intact a lot better, and you'll have yourself a nice little maker's mark, whether that be a triangle or whatever else. And you can, obviously you can pretty up the handle, and you could even make a stamp on both ends if you wanted to. There's a lot of things you can do to make a maker's mark, but that is the basics of it. If you have any rough edges, remember to use a paintbrush, a damp paintbrush, to just kind of get all that jaggedness away. And yeah, then fire it. You can use it bone dry, which I've done before, but firing it is a sure way for it to last, but stand the test of time. So yeah, I would say fire it as soon as possible. You can use it at bone dry stage, but yeah, firing would probably be the best way. Yeah, and don't leave it out for your dogs to eat, because they'll eat it like they did mine. Oh, also, if you want your letters in there, like say you wanted your initials, this is the runic sign for B, and then I have it intertwined with Manaz, which is for M. So BM is my initials, and I stamp it on all my stuff. Right here it's backwards. I wrote it backwards. It looks like P and like a B not facing the right way, but actually it's an M and a B. But you can't see that until you stamp it. So make sure, if you want specific letters to look a certain way, to rearrange them. So right now it doesn't say BM, but when I stamp it on here, you get what the stamp is really trying to show, which is a B, and then the M as a whole. But yeah, that's just something to think about too. So you would have to do it opposite to get the letters the way you want them to show, if that is what you want to do with it. But like I said, there are a lot of different ways for it. If you guys have any techniques or anything like that y'all do that, you know, you'd like to tell me about or mention, please do in the comments below. I'd love to hear about them. Yeah, and if you want to see anything else, just let me know. Thanks, guys.